Imagine a man who once brought almost all of Europe under his control. A commander whose name would make enemies tremble with fear. A ruler who changed the course of history. But in the end, that man was lost on a deserted island, alone, defeated. This man is Napoleon Bonaparte. And in today's video, we will know his incredible rise, the peak of his power, his wrong decisions, and finally, the whole story of his downfall. You are watching Nexora Documentary, where we highlight the most powerful, mysterious, and incredible stories in history. Subscribe to the channel because there is much more amazing history coming up. Let's get started. At the end of the 18th century, Europe was full of unrest. The monarchy was weakening, people were angry, and a terrible revolution began in France, French Revolution. This revolution did not just remove a king, it changed the entire social system. But at the same time, it pushed the country towards chaos. In the midst of this chaos, a young army officer emerged, Napoleon. He was born on the island of Corsica into an ordinary family. His family was not rich, but his dreams were big. He was different from childhood. He studied history and war tactics in depth. He enrolled in the French military school and joined the army at a very young age. His talent, his tactics, and his confidence set him apart from others. His first big success came in the Italian War. He led the French army and achieved one victory after another. His tactics was fast, unexpected, and very effective. He would attack before his enemies realized, and he would win. This victory made him popular. People began to see him as a hero. Then he launched an expedition to Egypt. Although he was not completely successful, nevertheless, his fame spread further. In 1799, he returned to France and seized power through a political coup. He declared himself first consul, but in reality, all the power came into his hands. He reorganized the administration, improved the law, and stabilized the economy. In 1804, he declared himself emperor. To become emperor from a commoner, this was an incredible event in history. Then began his greatest goal, to conquer all of Europe. He started one war after another and won almost all of them. One of his most famous victories was the Battle of Austerlitz, where he defeated the combined forces of Russia and Austria. At one point, most of Europe came under his control. He didn't just fight. He changed the map of Europe. He installed his allies as rulers in various countries. It seemed no one else could stop him. But this is where his downfall began. One of his biggest mistakes was invading Russia in 1812. He entered Russia with a huge army, but the Russians retreated without fighting directly, destroying their own cities and food. As a result, Napoleon's army was in a terrible crisis. Then came the terrible winter, cold, hunger, disease. All in all, his army was destroyed. Thousands of soldiers died. This was the biggest defeat of his life. Then the powers of Europe united and stood against him. He lost one war after another. In 1814, he was forced to give up power. He was sent into exile to the island of Elba. But his story did not end here. Just a year later, he returned again. This period is called the 100 Days. He formed an army again. He tried to seize power again, but this time he had a strong coalition army in front of him. In 1815, the historic battle took place, Battle of Waterloo. In this battle, Napoleon was finally defeated. This time he was sent into exile even further away, on the island of St. Helena. It was a deserted island from which it was almost impossible to escape. There he spent the last days of his life. In 1821, he died. His life was an extraordinary journey, an ordinary man who became one of the most powerful people in history in his own right. He did not just fight, he brought about major changes in law, administration, and social order. Many of the laws he created are still used in different countries of the world. He was a genius on one hand. On the other hand, his arrogance and ambition destroyed him. Napoleon's story teaches us, no matter how great the power, a wrong decision can end everything. A wrong war, a wrong plan, a wrong decision can destroy an entire empire. Many rulers have come and gone in history. Many empires have risen, lost again. But Napoleon's story still inspires people today. At the same time, it warns, because just as a person's willpower can make history, similarly, his wrong decision can destroy history. This is why Napoleon Bonaparte will forever be a powerful and memorable name in the pages of history.